All right, well, we can go on to the next post, which is titled, "Friendly reminder that videos that are now acknowledged to be real by the U.S. government were leaked a decade earlier to a conspiracy forum where they were convincingly, quote unquote, debunked." Some key points we have are: real skepticism is not just doubting everything you see, it's also doubting your own doubt critically. We all have our own biases. Media claiming to depict UFOs should be examined carefully and extensively. The least we can do is to accept that a reasonable explanation can always be found. Well said, in my opinion.
The case that this person is talking about, the fact that the Nimitz video, the FLIR video, was posted on above top secret forums in 2007. I was on above top secret back in the day, and I remember reading a lot of this stuff. There's a really good analysis that someone posted in 2023 called "The Mysterious Origins of the Nimitz UFO Video." This is a post also on above top secret forums that links back to the original. One thing that is pointed out is that when the FLIR video was uploaded to the internet, it was uploaded to a German film student website. And when people first downloaded that FLIR video, the fact that it was hosted on a German film student website gave people skepticism, which is why they thought it was CGI. And that was the commonly accepted debunk at the time in 2007. So I think this just really speaks to the importance of chain of custody and provenance when it comes to evidence. When those videos came out in 2017 from Lou Elizondo, from the Pentagon, from ATIP, that had a lot more weight and credibility than someone on the internet who had uploaded it to a film site.
I think this post really gets at the fact that debunking something shouldn't be a binary. It shouldn't be it is debunked or it's not debunked. It's providing evidence toward or away from getting rid of debunking something. So I don't think people should ever write a sighting or a post or whatever off as being debunked and then put it, it's gone forever. People should be a little bit more measured about it and say, here's the evidence for and against. This appears to be pretty likely bunk or not. But I just think there's a little bit too much of a binary thinking with a lot of people in the sub in general.
Mm-hmm.
My thoughts exactly. There was a book that I just started reading called The Half-Life of Facts. It was mentioned in a podcast, but it talks about that there, just like there's a half-life for some radioactive elements, there's also a half-life for facts. And like you said, that debunking is not necessarily binary, but not only that, but if you kind of look at us as a snapshot in time, it's likely that half of the things that we call facts now in 100 years' time won't be facts. But it's kind of an interesting concept. But I like that line of thought, especially when researching this, something that's outside of the edge of human knowledge. It's anomalous because we can't explain it. It doesn't happen in our everyday lives, so to speak.
Yeah, good point. One thing I noticed in the comments, if our listeners aren't familiar, there's a famous debunker known as Mick West. There's a comment about him and how, believe it or not, Mick West is the only prominent debunker who actually noticed a problem and was honest enough to call it out regarding how quickly some videos can get debunked. I know that we have a lot of readers on the subreddit and commenters that like to give him flack, but he tries, I guess, his best in that regard to not immediately dismiss.
Yeah, I think Mick is pretty good about being humble to a degree. He does annoy me with his not looking into historical history of UAP at all necessarily. He's not into it as far as I'm aware, but he will say this seems to be mostly debunked or, mostly bunk, etc. He doesn't say it's for sure, write it off. And he does admit mistakes if he makes a mistake. So 2 thumbs up for Mick West.
Yeah, I think he approaches things respectfully, and most of what I talked about the Afghanistan video was based off some of Mick's work and assessment. I think that what's important is that he never resorts to ad hominem attacks. He always kind of goes at the evidence itself and tries to maintain a constructive dialogue, provide useful information, and so forth, just related to the evidence itself.
Yeah, and I just want to caveat what I just said, because people probably hate me for giving thumbs up to Mick West, but I do think that he's ultimately wrong about the topic as a whole. There are anomalous phenomenon that can't be explained by him necessarily, and him dismissing the whole topic, he's wrong. So just keep that in mind.
I do think that his attitude towards believers or people that are a little bit more hesitant towards being skeptical is he can be a bit harsh for sure in the overall conversation.
Yeah.
I used to dislike skepticism because for some reason it feels like they're an enemy, so to speak. But when they come with receipts or they actually do some investigation and leave me with something that allows me to find the conclusion myself, I find that useful. But for Mick West, I just see his perspective from the skeptic, and he's biased just like I'm biased. I'm biased that I think there is something truthful to this and I want to know now. And so my emotions sometimes will get in the way. And so I think it's good to have these different personalities, even if sometimes they're irksome. It kind of helps us try to triangulate the truth, if that makes sense. At least that's my perspective.
Yeah, I like the fact that we're all looking for truth, and being able to explain certain videos only makes the ones that are more interesting rise to the top.
Yeah, and I'd say the vast majority of sightings are bunk, ultimately, or not anomalous, So it takes a lot of work to get through those to find something really good.
That's true.
That's how I came across this sub, was because I was looking for a source, the signal to noise ratio, right? I was looking for a high. And this subreddit was the highest signal to noise ratio that I could find. And so that's what attracted me to our UFOs. And that's what they asked me like almost a year ago when I was applying to become a moderator. And I said, well, this is kind of, I see as it's better than some others, and I want to volunteer and do my part, which I think that, it's cool to pursue after truth, and that's a worthy cause, I think.
Absolutely. That's why I enjoy and respect the subreddit as well. I think the readers really and commenters in the upvote downvote system do a great job of kind of filtering through that noise. And we have a lot of people that, are users that are in special fields and can provide their own opinion, where you don't really have a lot of areas on the internet where that you can bring in all these different types of people together to discuss it. So it's pretty cool.